Every time I'm just doing too much. Yes to you, yes to you, yes. And you get a yes, you get a yes, you get a yes, you get a yes. Now I'm sick, dying in the bed, can't move. And you think all those people I said yes to is even checking on me? No. Hello, beautiful ladies. Welcome back to another Tap In with TK. My name is TK. I am so excited to be back with y'all yet again with another banger. First and foremost, if you do not know, my name is Tekeishia, but most people call me TK. Here in Tap In with TK, we talk all things under the umbrella of being a daughter of God. So we are not only striving to be closer to the Lord, we're striving to be closer to ourselves, meaning growing a personal relationship with ourselves in emotional intelligence, emotional health, physical health, love, healing, self-care, all things womanhood. So if that is something that you feel like you would like, girl, go ahead and like this video, comment to let me know where you're watching from, and also do not forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell because you need to be notified every single Tuesday when I drop a Tap In with TK. I am so excited for today's conversation because this is something that is extremely personal to me. Number one, everything that I share is something I've either gone through or going through, and I always say this every video, my passion and my calling, to be honest, is to be transparent to those that are called to me, to share the pitfalls and the mistakes that I made so you don't have to, or share the good decisions that I've made so you can make them possibly and be able to experience some form of success. I don't know about y'all, but I am, if you guys do not know, I am 31, and turning 31, just like turning 30, but turning 31 was a new leaf for me. And I feel like I am in a zone of not playing about me. I am not playing about myself. And even as I'm reading the scriptures, the Lord is showing me it is okay to be locked in. It is okay to really be focused on becoming the best version of yourself, no matter who that offends. As long as you are operating in love, you are operating in kindness and gentleness and understanding. If you are going after the things of the Lord, you will upset some people. That's just the way it is. And I am in that season where I am very much so, girl, I'm done being disobedient. I don't know about y'all, but I am through with halfway doing my calling. I am through with halfway following the principles and the disciplines that the Lord has called us to follow. I'm through with it. And I think you are too. So today we're going to talk about 6 bad habits to let go of immediately. You're not starting this journey next week. You starting today. We are starting today. These 6 habits, if you have been engaging in them, I am sure have caused some type of delay, meaning God has called you to receive some stuff, to experience some stuff. But if you have these habits in your life, they are delayed, those promises, right? Those things that God has promised you. And you have also experienced some type of compromise, right? Because when you don't do the things of the Lord, I don't care how long you ignore it, there is something in you that's like, I know there's more. And you begin to compromise and you begin to make excuses for not going all in. I want to make this very clear. Taking care of yourself is not selfish. Having these habits that I'm going to talk to y'all, the opposite of the habits that I'm going to share with y'all, operating in excellence and wisdom, the only people that will be offended by this is people that are not doing what they need to do. Okay? So let's get into it. Number 1, this is a habit, girl, you got to let go of immediately. I'm talking about today. I am talking about right now. Right now, you got to let this go. Number 1, not keeping your word. Failing to follow through on commitments and promises, which undermines your integrity and your reliability. Your word should be your bond, woman of God. God cares about this. When you say you're going to show up to something, be there. When you say you're going to be a part of a team, do it, right? And falling into the opposite of this trait, which means keeping your word, which means you have to say what you mean, which means you need to be aware of yourself. This is something I used to struggle with so bad, y'all. My friends would ask me to go places, ask me to go out, and because I hadn't seen them for a while, or, you know, I love them, I want to be around them. But when I looked at my schedule, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's not going to work. And instead of just being honest on the front end and saying, hey, I'm not going to be able to commit to that. Could we push it out a little bit further? And instead of doing that, I will say yes. And then I will drop out. I will say yes. And then I will fall out. That is so bad, y'all. Like, We have to keep our word, which means we need the wisdom and the awareness and the structure and the scheduling to know if that is something I can really do. So for instance, now, regardless of how it makes people feel, I schedule people out far in a distance. Literally got a booking today. This is January. If you're watching this in a different season, this is I think this is the last week of January. Because every Saturday in February, I am booked. They were trying to get squeezed in February. And I was like, you know what? Let's just push it out to March. Because what I don't want to do is be consumed with my already assigned obligations that when that day comes that I need to show up for you or for that assignment, I can't. And now I'm dropping out and now I'm disappointing you. I'd rather be honest, even if it makes you mad. And I know that people get upset about honesty. That's what I have realized, but they'll love it at the end. So go ahead and before you commit to another thing, before you say yes, make sure you know. Oh, there's this book called The Best Yes by Lisa Turkhurst. I think that's what it's called. If you struggle with decision making, if you struggle with saying yes to too many things, you are constantly overwhelmed, you feel like you are stretching yourself thin, The Best Yes, that book is the best book or recommendation I can give to y'all. If you guys don't know, I lead a community called Ladies of Light, which we meet every Tuesday. It's just a group of us who are dedicated to growing in God and with ourselves on a more intimate level. And we read this together, and reading this, one of the chapters talked about following your yes. And I'm so grateful because as I was reading this book, I was in a season of having to give people some very difficult no's, but I committed to something and then I followed that yes. I'm like, wait a minute, said yes to that, but every month I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to have to do a Zoom call. I'm going to have to show up in person to that. I can't do that. So I'd rather break your heart now than to be considered someone that is not reliable and integral. You got to let that habit go. Number 2 is for Miss Tardy Tammy. Okay, you are always late. Have you ever met somebody that you literally know you got to tell them like 30 minutes to 45 minutes in advance of what the time really is? That's not okay. As I said this, I'm either talking about you or I'm talking about somebody you know. When you have a meeting with someone, you know for sure they're going to be late. That's how bad it is. And I think that people have like praised that, like, girl, you know I'm going to be late. Girl, I'm always late. Girl, yeah, I showed up late. That is not good. Listen to me very clearly. This is what y'all are not understanding. That affects your femininity. It affects how you show up in a room. You're always out of breath and rushing because you ran into the building. You have no time to fix anything. If you were to start your cycle, do you have a little kit in your car? Do you have enough time? You get what I'm saying? Last Sunday, me and my husband, we showed up to church about an hour early. Last Sunday, my dress busted open, y'all. I had a zip up and it busted open. I used the restroom, walked out, and I saw it was open. I was like, oh my gosh. My daughter was with me and I tried to get her to do it. It wasn't working. Another young lady came in. It wasn't working. We finally got it, right? We finally got the dress together. I'm in church, y'all. The usher comes and gets me. She's like, hey, I actually have a seat for you up front. And I'm worshiping or whatever. I start to walk. Thank God. Shout out to my home girl, Gabby, for pulling me aside. She was like, girl, your dress is busted. And I'm like, oh my gosh. The dress ended up busting. In that very moment, I was like, this is why my mom carries extra clothes in her car. My mom literally has shoes, socks, clothes, food, water. Now I do have food and water and like cycle stuff, pain medicine, but I'm like, I need to throw a little outfit in there, like a cute little, no matter where I'm at, it will be okay. I literally need that. You need to be prepared because anything can happen. And I think that when you are late, it just affects how you show up. One of the biggest traits or signs, or should I say fruit of being feminine is slowing down. It is slowing down. You gotta be if you know you are a late girl, and especially if you live in Atlanta, you got to get ready so early in advance. Tonight is a Bible study in person, my first in-person event. And the event is an hour and a half away from me. The actual Bible study starts at 6:30. I'm getting there at 5:30 and I'm leaving at 4. Like, I'm giving room for accidents, police. If I want to stop and get a Red Bull, if I want to sit in the car and read my word, you want to have that type of time. It is not okay to constantly disrespect people's time. And when you are dealing with high-level people and you're meeting high-level people for lunch, let me tell you one of the signs that you are dealing with high-level people. If they tell you they got 30 minutes, they have 30 minutes. If they tell you that they got an hour, they got an hour. And when you show up late, that time is not extended. You still only have an hour. And you just want to be a person that is respecting others people's time. It's a discipline. It shows your lack of discipline. It's one thing that you are just event after event, but you were home all day and you're still late. Makes no sense. It's a habit we got to let go of immediately. How do we do that? We keep it 100 with ourselves. Go ahead and be honest. You take a long time getting ready. You take a long time doing your makeup. You take a long time doing your hair. Make the time. If you today, I woke up today, I have a lot of things. I have a phone call. I'm recording. I got my children. I'm going to the gym. I wake up early morning every day. I'm looking at my structure. Okay, 9 o'clock, Ooh, I need to push that up. Okay, you can't go to the gym at 1. You got to go at 12 because you need to be back home by 2 because your kids, you got to do this. And then we need to get ready and we need to be out the door. Make sure you time packing your bag, put your camera in there, put your lights in. I'm putting this on my schedule because I know how time goes and I know how I want to show up. So be very real with yourself, knowing that you have a tendency to take a long time, right? Set the mood. And I don't know about y'all, but I like getting ready in a zone. I like making myself a tea. I like playing worship music or soul music or whatever I'm in the vibe for. Maybe it's jazz that day. I want to light a candle. I want to be with myself. I want to pray. I want to talk to God. And I'm telling you, I know I'm a very productive woman and I still can have very slow moments in my day because I schedule them. The third habit you need to let go of immediately is talking yourself out of trying new things. That fear, that uncertainty, that stagnation that you're dealing with, right? I never thought I would be a hiking, 5K running, outside nature. I mean, I knew some of the traits, but I never thought I would be doing it to the extent that I'm doing. I'm taking a pottery class here soon. If y'all want to go on that with me, if y'all want me to vlog these moments, please let me know. If not, if y'all like these sit down talks more, we can keep doing these. But you got to stop talking yourself out of doing it. And mind you, I'm going to that class alone. I want to really be intentional this year about doing things by myself. Number one, because I have to honor the fact that I do like being alone. And I used to feel bad for that. Even people would make me feel guilty for liking being by myself. And so instead of feeling guilty, I'm leaning into it, right? And I never thought I would be doing what I'm doing, but after trying the things that I've tried, like a 5K, like hiking, I've met so many beautiful people along the way. And I can't believe, mind you, also I went hiking alone too, with a group, but I didn't know anyone. When you allow fear to stop you from trying things, you are missing out on possibly God-given opportunities. In these experiences, you never know what could happen. You never know who you can meet. You never know a new side of yourself that you might discover. With running the 5K, it was one of my proudest moments. I had a beautiful young lady, hey girl, I hope you're watching, that I met on the run. And I was like, let's run together. My husband left me, y'all. He sprinted that 5K, no training, and sprinted the 5K. But I met this young lady and we had such a good conversation while we were running. At one point, we got quiet toward the end because it was time to get to that finish line. But I remember just sitting with myself as I was running like, wow, girl, you are really doing this. You are much stronger than you give credit for. God is really with you. Look at you doing. I ran track in middle school and high school, but I ran the 100-meter dash. Like that's it. And then I did shot put and discus. I don't even think I ever did the 200. So let alone a 5K. And I'm talking to myself like, wow, it unlocked a new level of confidence in me. And now I'm like, I can do anything. I don't think I'm doing a 10K at all. I'll continue to do 5Ks, but you never know, right? I'm not going to close myself off to that. And when you try new things, again, you unlock new levels of awareness of yourself. So now I did a 5K. Of course I can do public speaking. I ran a 5K. Of course I can walk in a room and represent who I am. And I can stand confident amongst anyone because I have this internal confidence. And when you allow fear to stop you from trying new things, you rob yourself of opportunities to develop a new level of self-confidence. The fourth habit, I really want to lean into my girls that are mothers, wives, working mothers, or even if you're single and you take care of a lot of people. The habit of neglecting yourself gotta go. Putting other people's needs and demands and desires above taking care of yourself is taking you out. It is wearing you down. And what I really want to press upon your heart, if you deal with people pleasing or you just extend yourself too much, you aren't properly loving them well like you think you are. When you neglect time alone, prayer time, going on those walks by yourself, working out, going to the spa, just taking care of you. Maybe it's just skin regimen. Maybe it's just a good shower. Maybe it's just staying on top of waxing and shaving and your nails and your toes. When you do that, you are not properly loving those people that you think you are loving well. You're not. I don't know about y'all. I remember when I first got into self-care and I started feeling guilty for taking time for myself. And I remember I overextended myself to someone and I got out of my zone of doing what I said I was going to do for me. I was supposed to be having alone time, and I ended up answering the phone and I was irritable. I was not pleasant. I was annoyed. And this person was on the phone with me sharing a good news and full of joy. And I'm like, TK, that's why you don't do that. That's why you do prioritize yourself. Cause look, now I got to apologize. I had to call this beautiful woman of God. I had to call her back and apologize. Like, I'm so sorry. I was irritated earlier. I should have sent you a text and said, let me call you a little bit later. People don't realize that when you love yourself well, you love others even better. I'm doing this because I love you. I'm doing this because I care about the relationship. I'm doing this because I want to treat you the way that God would be pleased. So the same with your children, the same with your husband. You think that ripping and running and going and going and going and going and going is doing something good for them? It's not, because what's the tone underneath that? Are you irritated? Are you drained? Are you low-key passive aggressive because you're really upset that no one is respecting you? Nobody cares about me. No, you don't care about you. So this habit has to go. Number one, because it demands respect. And number two, it is the way that you properly love others. And the last habit that you need to let go of, sis, woman of God, always being available. It's the biggest mistake you can make. Why are you always available? That's what we got to ask ourselves. Why am I always available? Why do I always have time to answer the phone? Why can I always be on social media? Hear me when I say this, and I say this with love because I was there. Anytime I have been able to talk on the phone, text, voice memo, DM, whatever, if I was doing it all day, I assure you something was neglected. And the unfortunate thing is something that probably God called me to do. Whether that is to be in my word, read a book, be in a training, clean my home, fold my laundry, do my hair, go to the gym, grocery shop, organize my week, plan, vision. There are a plethora of things that I can do outside of scroll. There's a plethora of things that I can do outside of being on the phone with you all day. There's a plethora of things that I can do outside of talking, right? And so when you are always available, it is a sign that you are neglecting something. Because if you really were doing the things that God has called you to do, you would not be as available as you are. Saying yes to every request or invitation oftentimes leads to burnout, lack of focus, and neglecting God priorities. The burnout part, baby. My husband told me about every 2 or 3 months, I would experience burnout. Burnout to where I was in the doctor's office. I would get so sick. I was actually talking to my cousin Marissa about this. She was like, girl, every single time I do too much, she said she gets like congestion, like she can't speak. Her throat hurts. I'm like, oh my gosh, I am the same. Every time I'm just doing too much. Yes to you, yes to you, yes. You get a yes, you get a yes, you get a yes, you get a yes. Now I'm sick, dying in the bed, can't move. And you think all those people I say yes to is even checking on me? No. That's why you can't be available to everyone, because you have to be wise enough to steward your time, to love people enough to say no. I love you too much to stretch myself thin and show up while I'm burnt out. Show up while I'm overwhelmed. And matter of fact, how about we not get burnt out? I talked about this in another video, how we need to create a life instead of resting as a response of being overwhelmed. We need to create a life that incorporates rest, right? That includes me resting, that includes my self-care. I should not be responding to chaos. Oh, now it's time for me to go to the spa. I'm going to do that before. That's a part of my lifestyle. It's a rhythm. It's a rhythm. It's a rhythm. And so when you are constantly and always available to everyone, you can text all day, you can call all day, you're always on social media, you can hop up for lunch, you can go down for coffee, I promise you, you are neglecting something. And let's not act like the enemy don't want you doing what God has called you to do. You think you're being there for people, meanwhile, you're falling in the trap of distraction. You think you're loving people well, meanwhile, you're falling in the trap of delay. You think you showing up for your girlfriends, I'm big on support, you showing up to everything. Meanwhile, you are completely neglecting your call. And what people are afraid to admit is that in seasons when you are called to do something, when you are called by God, that means saying no to people and disappointing people. And let me tell you, they will be okay. I remember I made a difficult decision in one of my relationships, and I had to lock in, which is always. And I remember, this girl getting upset. She was upset that, I basically couldn't be as available as I used to. Years later, she was like, thank you. She was like, you are one of the most driven and focused people I aspire. I watch how consistent you are. So people might get upset at the moment. People might be disappointed, but later on, even if they don't say it to you, they'll respect it. So I hope this helped you. I hope you let go of these habits immediately if you desire to really step this year. I think this is also why I didn't even really plan these videos in the order. God just gave me all these videos. But if you haven't watched my last video called How to Thrive Alone All 2025, I feel like when you are changing your life, you have to be prepared for people to respond a certain way, people to be upset that you're switching up. So there is a level of preparation you need to take in order to do it alone and be okay with that. And know that while you are stepping into the new her, you will attract more women that are like you that will respect and honor that. But these habits gotta go. It's keeping you on low levels. I pray that this blessed you. If it did, make sure you leave a comment down below. Let me know what you plan on working on or what you plan on dropping. What habit do you plan on dropping this year? Let me know in the comments down below. Until next time, I love y'all. See y'all.
Here I find myself again, time traveling only in my head. From the past to future play, more change, yeah. My emotions are back.